Markets are up. What a shock. My goodness gracious. No surprise, I don't think. I hope nobody's surprised because I put it in the chat room and I mentioned it on the update that it wouldn't be a shock if this market came all the way back. And if you're shocked, you're making a mistake, then you're not paying attention, because this was not an easy call, but certainly an understandable that you could see that they call it the capitulation. No, I know you're kidding. You were with me this morning, so you heard me say it. I think that the capitulation type trade, the panic into the open. Remember we talked about this when they drill them early. Okay, after they've had some big selling, you can assume a rally may be coming. Now, again, I think this is probably a selling opportunity at some point here. I'm not going to say yet right in this minute, but I do think, listen, we're already short, but I do think that this is certainly a selling opportunity. Okay, I think that, what's up on YouTube? I do think that it is certainly an opportunity. I think that there's going to be a lot of trade. You can see the activity in markets is getting much busier. The volumes are getting much bigger, which is exactly what we want. Okay, and we didn't do much in the day trading today because, again, I wanted people to get comfortable with what was happening. But overall, again, this is a little bit different conditions than we've had previously. Jesse Livermore says, always said spikes are something nothing to worry about with me. I'll be looking to sell this one, just like I was looking to buy the one that the dip spike this morning. Okay, as I said it on the update. You listen to the update. I know that. So, anyways, I mean, look, if you look at this, it went way down and they collapsed. Looked like they were never coming back. And then before you know it, slowly but surely they came back. And the first to turn was the Russell. Okay. And then the rest. And now they're up pretty solid. Okay. I mean, this is what happens when you get, wholesale selling, panic. Okay. And you get reversals out of that. Now, again, I don't think this is anything reversal in trend. I think the trends are down. I think this is, as I said, I think this is a great rally to find a spot to sell into. I don't know where that spot is yet. Okay. But I definitely would say, and it may be right here. Okay. It may be right where we're at. I'm not going to say anything about where yet, because if I did, it'd be irresponsible of me to say that, because I don't have any clue yet. I'm watching, but again, I will be selling. Okay. I will be looking to sell into this at some point. Okay. There's a lot of room on the downside to go. And I don't think that anything has changed here yet. How about those football games? My goodness gracious. I was 3-1. I could have been 4-0. I could have been 2-2. Okay, the two on Saturday were easy, and Aaron Rodgers proved that he's just nothing but a regular season quarterback. Again, 30 years of great quarterbacking in Green Bay. They got 2 Super Bowls. How about that? 30 years, Favre and Rodgers. They got 1 Super Bowl. Anyways. Wild games. What a way to finish the weekend last night. If you're a fan, I mean, I am. I'm a fan. I'm a gambler. So, what's up, brother?
How you doing? Yeah, that was probably the best football game I've ever watched.
I would say it was close. I mean,
it was up there. It was wow, Mahomes, unbelievable.
There was a great game. I forget. I think it was in the '80s. Miami and San Diego when the hook and lateral won the game.
Oh yeah.
But that was like I was sitting in the bar watching that game, and it was unbelievable. And football was wild, kind of like the markets today.
Yeah, by the way, I mean, it was the early game was also great. I mean, that was Brady. He did everything he could.
Yeah, listen, the better team won that game yesterday. They for sure were the better team yesterday. But Brady still had a chance. How you let Cooper Kupp get 80 yards in the last drive is beyond me. But again, I'm not the coach. I'm just a fan who was on the wrong side of that game.
Yeah, I mean, the blitz there was ridiculous.
But that's what I say. I agree. So, but again, in the meantime, the markets themselves are. It's not. You shouldn't be shocked that you get this kind of rally. Okay.
No, not at all.
Again, this is expected. Even in 1987, and for those who listen to me during the day, I said that last week's action reminded me a lot of 1987. And not that we're never going to get the 22% drop. That can't happen again because of all the stuff that goes in play. Okay. But the price action suggested that there was a big beatdown coming. And typically when they're going to come, they come on a Monday. And Andy, why are they coming on Monday?
Because everyone thinks about them all weekend and they get ready and they get scared.
Right. And in fact, it's funny because they opened a little bit higher last night before collapsing this morning. And of course, they came flying right back on gigantic volume. Okay. Which again, we haven't seen this for, I don't know how long we haven't seen this kind of volume. But again, you should never be shocked what markets do. Markets do what markets do. It's how you react to what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Okay. And, as I was saying earlier, I don't know if you're on yet or not, but every morning I day trade with a group of members for about 40 minutes. And this morning I said, look, we're not going to trade the indexes today. They're too fast. They're too wild. And we have to take too much risk until everybody's comfortable with the risk we can take. And I also said that with gold. And we had 3 trades, 2 were losers and 1 in gold was a big winner. It was big. If we took them all, it was big enough to make a lot of money. But again, I'm not worried about that. It's the principle and it's the tactics that you use and getting yourself in good habits so that when you see a change and you can recognize, a market that's wilder, which means what? When it's a wilder market, you need to take more risk. Is that not true?
Yes. Well, I mean, look, the wilder markets create more opportunities, certainly. So,
they create more risk and they create bigger winners. That's all that changes.
The risk reward profile changes because when volatility is there, you have to widen out your horizons.
That's correct. So, you called the possible major crash interview with a beautiful QQ girl from Montreal. Yeah. Well, I think it is. I don't think this is it. Listen, I say, and I stand by this, before this is all said and done, I'm not talking about this move now or in the next 6 months. I'm talking about when this move breaks, when this market breaks and goes down, okay, and it really goes down, I say it goes down, it gets a 50% haircut. That's my prediction. I stand by it, but I don't trade by it. I'm not massively short. And if I have to get long because the algorithm switched to get long at some point, I'll get long. But again, when I look at the market, a 50% haircut would be no surprise to me. What about to you?
No, nothing surprised me. Nothing would surprise me, especially with this, with what's going on in Washington and geopolitically. Nothing would surprise me.
And of course, you've got a Fed that who knows what they're in now. Fortunately, the markets came back a little bit, so maybe they won't get too nervous. Are they going to panic? But listen. They've done a lousy job. They've done a lousy job since Greenspan came into play. I mean, they've done a lousy job for 108 years, but really, since Greenspan came in was the real start of the bubble building. And this is they don't react fast enough to what needs to be done. This inflation that we're having, besides the fact that it's the energy policy, which is horrible. I think you agree with that.
Horrible is too nice a term.
Well, you have to be careful. I don't want to get beeped. But I mean, the picture is it could have been handled much easier and much better all the way through. And that's not That's not this administration's fault. This has been going on for years and years and years, that the Fed is too political and too much worried about the party that's in power at the time, and this accommodation of money, which really does nothing for us. It helps the banks and it helps, the politicians. It doesn't help the middle class guys. What do you think?
Nope, doesn't help them at all. So I give my bitch of the day.
Okay.
Which is political today.
Okay.
So we really screwed up in Afghanistan. There's no question about it, because we sent a signal to Putin and to President Z, that we're weak. So, today I read that that the administration is looking at sending 8,500 prime U.S. soldiers at the prime of their lives to Europe now to counter, 125,000 Russians amassed in their military, amassed on the Ukraine border. And you know what it reminds me of, Bubba? It reminds me of a guy who goes to the casino and he loses $10,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got $20 left in his wallet. So he goes into the poker room and he sits down at the table with $20 and thinks he's going to win it all back. It's
I agree.
It's insane. First of all, I'm not commenting on whether we should send troops there or not. I mean, personally, I don't think we should. I don't, a war with Russia is something that we do not want. But the seeds were not sown in Moscow. The seeds were sown in Washington, because the seeds were perceived U.S. weakness, that, we just get out at any cost. And our exit from Afghanistan sent very big signals to Moscow, to Beijing, to Tehran, to Pyongyang. And we're paying for it. And we're paying for it with this Soviet buildup. Now, to expect NATO to help us in Ukraine is insane, because they're not going to. Germany is not going to.
Right.
No one is going to over there.
Right.
What can we do? We could do what was smart. I mean, not allow him to have that pipeline, that gas pipeline. I don't know why we're not allowing the XL pipeline in the U.S., but we're allowing the Russian pipeline into Europe. That's fine.
Right.
The gas pipeline. That there's no problem with that, because climate change, we have an invisible wall. It won't come over here.
We have a big bubble around us.
It's ridiculous. But the point is, 8,500 troops. That's sending them to their death, in my opinion. It's a big mistake.
I actually have, some of you might have information on that, not inside information, but an opinion. And I'm going to just throw it out to the Colonel. And if you care to comment, I would love to hear your take on this.
Yeah, I would like to hear.
Put it in the Q&A, of course, because that's private between me and you and Andy. But if you'd like to comment, I would love to hear your take, because
I would love to hear that take, because I mean, listen, I'm not a military guy.
Right. No, neither am I. I mean,
right. I'm an economist, and at the end of the day, I look at the cost, and when I look at 8,500 in capital versus 125,000 in capital, and it's just we operate from such weakness, and we're talking strong, and it's very worrying.
No, I agree.
Happening. I am pretty sure that Russia is going to walk in there.
I agree with everything you said. I'd like to, there's a thing about orders and whatever they do, and I'd like to hear the opinion of the Colonel if they care to comment. I think it's, again, I go to this person a lot when I have questions like this about stuff like this, because I'm curious and I want to know if my opinion is nuts or whatever. Because again, there's a difference between you and me on the outside, because obviously we think veterans are weak because we are the benefactor of what they do.
Right. But the military side,
here we go.
The point from military science. Yeah.
Here we go. Wait, there is a one-time armored brigade, 3,200 troops already forward deployed there now. There is also a forward deployed Apache battalion, 24 Apaches. There is also one cavalry regiment permanent station in Germany, 3,200. So you're already near 8,500 being quoted.
So they're already there. So basically what Biden is saying, what they're saying is.
So he's just saying what's already there.
Right. And, Are they overwhelmed? I mean,
Well, I mean, how can you not be overwhelmed?
I mean, I can't imagine that Putin wants to start World War III, but he wants Ukraine and he wants influence in that region. He's made no bones about that. And he's going to get it. And you know what? He might not get it through military might. He might get it through replacing the government. And then what are we going to do? Well, like I said, we sowed the seeds of this with our departure from Afghanistan. We sowed the seeds of it by handing the oil pricing back to OPEC. It's just one weakness after another. And when you're an autocrat, you sense that the world's mightiest military is weakened. You're going to take advantage of that, because when else are you going to get that window of opportunity? You don't know who the next leader of the free world, so-called, is going to be in 2024. You don't know.
We can count. We can know that it's going to be old and not the best of what we have to offer.
Right. But the point is, now they're talking about Hillary running again. That should be.
Yeah. Okay.
But the point is that we show our weak hand. We show 2-7, and he's got aces. I mean,
right. No, look, and we try to bluff. Listen, I'm very unhappy with what's going on around here. Okay, from almost every standpoint. Okay, because between the reduction of our freedoms, and you don't think we're getting things reduced, the tracking of everything you do, okay, and everything they want to do, all they're really doing is it'll be like, they can already track you by any electronic device that you have, and they're trying to take away every freedom that you really have.
Yes, but what my mind goes to, Bubba, is the young men and women in the military.
Oh yeah, 100%.
To the cops who get shot in New York City over the weekend responding to a domestic abuse thing, to the girl from Deloitte who gets pushed on the subway tracks in New York City because someone's out on bail. We have a lot of weaknesses in this country, and we need a strong leadership, and we don't have it.
Right, and I could not agree with you more there.
And that's very upsetting. So that's my bitch. It's not. There's no comic twinge to this bitch. This is just, it's reality, and it's sad. It's very sad.
Right, I'm with you. Again, I'm with you, and I think, again, look, we've got, and we've got major problems that nobody likes to talk about. And forget about. Obviously, I'm in agreement with you on those problems. And we have market problems too. Yes. We've got supply chain problems. As I tell you guys, I don't go shopping when I'm in Chicago because my wife goes for us. But when I'm here by myself, I got to go shopping, and I got news for you. Every time I go, the shelves are getting emptier and emptier. Okay, now you don't think that's a problem? Wait till the hoarders come in. Okay. And really empty out these shelves. This is the people. We panic a lot everywhere, and that will take place in the grocery stores as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the grocery stores, but the grocery stores, the mom and pop grocery store is gone. We got the big chains, and the big chains are unable to access the trucks. And you go into Albertsons near us, and the shelves. There's a lot of empty shelves.
Yeah.
And restaurants, we went out to a place for lunch the other day, and my wife ordered a Greek salad. They said, "Well, sorry, we have no feta cheese." It's amazing. It's shocking. I mean, it's typical of what is going on. Restaurants are running out of things, and supermarkets are running out of things, and shortages. And I never saw this in my life. I mean, I saw it in my life when I traveled to Russia in the 1980s a lot. I saw what it was like. The only time
George Orwell, 1984 is knocking.
Yeah, it is.
And again, so every week we go, oh wait, I will not. Thank you. I will read that later then, but I will not. I promise I will not say it out loud. Okay. But I'm going to read it when I have time, because
the one thing I will say about Ukraine is that, the one thing that I do know about that region is that if he is going to make a movie, he's going to make it soon, because you cannot wait till spring, because you can't move that armored personnel during the mud season. So when the ground is frozen, it's the perfect time. So I would expect sometime now or under the cover of the Olympics, he's going to make a move. That's my prediction.
Okay, I could see that. So, I mean, we have, listen, the vax mandate is another thing that I find problematic. And again, I think not because I don't think you should be vaxxed, because I am, right? We talk about this. But now, again, it's more ways to track and guide you. And I don't know, I'm getting a little bit more, again, for me and you, it's not that big of a deal because we're old, okay, in relationship to when all this could take place. But it is something that you want to worry about. Hell, you got two brand new grandchildren on here. So,
Right. Of course,
you got children.
We got children. We got son. We got daughter. You have a daughter. It's very upsetting. The whole thing is very upsetting.
And enough depressing. Well, I guess we get more depressing. So we can look at markets though. Okay, and
the markets are not depressing. They're just moving. That's what they are.
Right. Exactly. So
and we follow trends, so we don't care if they go up.
No, listen.
We just care if they move.
The football games were unbelievable.
That was the bright spot of the weekend.
And that's going to be my bitch too. Wait till you get to my bitch later. But
by the way, 4 good games. Here's my prediction for next week. Expect 2 shitty games. Pardon my French.
Did you know that every game was decided in the last play of the game?
Yes, it was incredible. I mean, these were very entertaining. Whether you're a diehard NFL fan or not, or just someone who watches during the playoffs. These were very entertaining.
Oh, they were unbelievable, and it was very exciting to watch.
And by the way, 3 or 4 dogs won.
Right, which is unusual. And of course, I don't know if you were here when I said it, but Aaron Rodgers proved that he's just a regular season quarterback. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Listen, Mahomes took a big step up yesterday. What did he have? 8 seconds left on the clock, Bubba?
13 seconds when they got the ball, they drove down.
Unbelievable.
That was Buffalo's fault too, though. But
no, it was. It was a bad call. But I will tell you, during that game, he made some off-balance passes that were just incredible.
He's sick, but Josh Allen was great.
And I don't take anything away from Josh Allen. He was great.
He was unbelievable.
He was great.
By
the way, I liked Buffalo going into that game. I thought Buffalo was going to finally win. But, hey. I couldn't say anything negative about Josh Allen. He played the game of his life.
The game was decided by the coin toss, is correct. Right. But of course, it was decided by the defenses that couldn't stop anybody. So it came down to the coin toss.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I was very happy for Matthew Stafford. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see, because he takes the brunt of everything, and he played great yesterday. And it'll be interesting how he plays against San Francisco. I already like the Rams.
Did San Francisco beat him last time out?
8 in a row they beat him, or 6 in a row.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
So
that's what I thought.
But markets were again. I think that if you're shocked by today's action, you need to study markets a little bit more. This is not an unusual event to see. Remember, we've gone down here. If you look at the Nasdaq, which happens to be on the board, we've gone down from almost 16,600. You went straight down to 14,600, and then you went down to 13,600. Okay, and so a reversal for a short period of time is no surprise.
No, not at all. Not at all. Listen. Bear markets rip your face off rallies, and that's what we saw today. When did it start? Late in the day.
No, but actually, I saw it kind of developing this morning. We're live trading. I said to the guys on the live, to guys and girls on the live trade, don't be surprised if one or more of these indexes get to be green at least for a while today.
Right.
And then I wrote in the chat room at about 3-4 hours before the close, I said, there's a good chance, not a good chance. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it. There's a 10% chance that they all close on their highs. They all rally on the day.
I get it. When I looked at the markets with about an hour and a half to go, all the leading indexes, not the Russell. The Russell was down just up a little.
Right.
All the leading, they were still down over 2.5%. So, but hey, that was, it accelerated.
So, as we look at the dollar, again, the dollar was up, it was down, but we're still short dollars. But it looks, again, first of all, it's a pain in the butt product.
It's a horrible product.
I mean, again, I like to tell it like it is. I mean, it's a it's a funky chicken. Okay.
It's a horrible product because it measures one reserve currency against another, and they're all
Right.
manipulated.
And it's the one that has
That's
the
why
least,
it's so bad.
it's the worst one, and it's one you cannot actively trade for
No.
many reasons, but one of them doesn't move enough. But so here we are. We came down to that 95.50 support. We're bouncing back up. We're now at about 9,600. Well, I got news for it. Okay. It certainly was not spiking very much. When you looked at the big picture today, Andy, right? You would say, and I think we've agreed on this before, but the things that move the most when you get a big panic are the dollar up because countries buy dollars, and the bond markets.
Right. The bonds were up and then they turn lower when the stock market rallied.
Exactly.
Right.
And
typical.
And the dollar was never really spiking. The VIX spiked a little bit. Now I don't know where it ended up, but I wasn't paying attention. But
I think around the 30 level.
Look at this.
I think around the 30. It was up to almost 40.
Look at it. It was right. Exactly. So again, none of this is a
By the way, it traded higher than the highs in 2021 today. And we close around 30. Okay, I still at an elevated level, 30, but
4%. Anyways, the dollar, Connie, I got to give Connie levels before she yells at me.
Oh, sorry. That's quite a haircut, though.
95, 50, 96, tighter range. We'll see what happens at 96. It should fail. What about the mantra, sell the rallies? Yeah, I said that earlier. I certainly would sell the rallies. But again, a rally, what do you define as a rally? Okay. That's what you have to determine what is defined as a rally, which means that you have to identify a spot in a chart. Okay. Now, for my money, okay, if I'm looking at the long-term chart, I would look to be selling possibly right here. Okay. This might fail right from here, or I'd be going to the next level. Okay. Which is where I would sell. I would for certain sell. Okay. But what I would do personally is I would go down to a shorter time frame. Okay. So that I could find where it looks on a shorter time frame, since all time frames are the same and they trade the same, and where it starts to weaken. So looking at this, we're still at the same spot here, and believe it or not, we're at the same spots on a 30-minute chart. So I want to get a little bit finer. I could go to, I use when we're day trading, I use 4 minutes. So here's what we're using. So right now, this you could see was kind of bottoming. Okay, here I'm going to make this look correct because it's a little bit, there you go. Okay, so you could see that now this would have been a potential spot to sell. Okay, right here, if you were selling, and it didn't work. But again, you have to remember, you're not going to be dead right every time. Okay, you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to go through some losses when you trade. Okay, they're not all winners, unfortunately. Okay, so, but this would have been a place I would have looked at selling if I was looking to sell. And then, of course, when you're getting late in the day, okay, right before the close, to me, that is not for the meek, nor is it for inexperienced people trading, because that is extremely dangerous, because you get oftentimes a lot of follow through of where they are right then, because people either chasing, there's whatever the reasons is, it gets much thinner. I have no interest in having rookies or amateurs getting involved at that time of day. So to me, after 3:30 Eastern, your trading should be over for the day if you're trading futures. But I did. And I think this is important, as we've talked about many times, I've said, you want to look sometimes to buy these when they get so beaten down and downtrodden. Okay. What do? Okay. Like this morning was a perfect opportunity. And somebody actually emailed, I'm going to give you the quick story, emailed me yesterday. And I said, I can't tell you yet. I don't know. I have to see it open. I said, email me after the 6 o'clock Eastern open tonight, which was last night. I said, they're higher. There's nothing I'm going to do here. Okay, I'll see. And then I said, email me after the actual opening of the markets at 9:30, and I'll tell you what I think we should do. Okay, so at 9, I'm at 9:40, whatever, emailed me, and I go, what I would do, I wouldn't buy futures because you have to take a lot of risk, and I don't know how deep your pocket is to hold. I said, the best trade that I would make for myself is to buy some at the money or just slightly out of the money calls in the spiders for Wednesday or Friday. In other words, I don't want to pay a lot of premium either. I want to, if I'm taking a shot, I'm expecting this move to happen right away. Okay. And again, if we look at the SPY, okay, I guess I got to, it's up there already. Okay. If I look at the SPY, and you can see that I would have bought, okay, these, like the at the money calls at the time, which we got down to 420. Okay. And on Wednesday, the 420s were probably, bupkis. I mean, they were cheap and they were a reasonable trade to make. But that you have at least what your risk is. Okay. When you start dealing in the futures world, which I do, I predominantly trade futures during the day. Okay. In fact, I only day trade futures, except sometimes if I take a shot at the final bell in the indexes for 10 cents. But if you want to take something and try to play for this, you have to limit the risk on that. And that would, to me, the way is always to buy a call, that's very close to expiration, because you're playing the rip your face off rally. You were playing for to come in the next day or two, and that would have been timed it in perfectly. Okay.
You see this question? In case if war starts, where do you see markets?
I'm sorry.
There's a question. In case if war starts, where do you see markets?
I don't know. I can't really answer that.
I will say that the risk of cyber attacks will increase dramatically. And I think that could really disrupt markets to a point where trading could be curtailed. That's possible.
Yeah, again, it's hard to say. During the Gulf War, when we invaded, when all the scuds were going up, the markets were skyrocketing.
Yeah, but we were fighting Saddam Hussein.
No, I get it. I'm just saying that I can't make those predictions, nor do I. Okay, look, I trade the price action every day. I will give you my opinion of what I think longer term, but I will never trade what I think longer term, because that is not accurate, nor it's going to take.
I agree 100%, but I will say that the set of risks will increase if there is, hostilities between the U.S. and Russia. We will see a different level of risk than we've seen in our lifetime.
I agree. I'm with you. I mean, again, I agree with you 100%. Okay. So the euro currency, again, we're long the euro right now. Okay. And, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's not, I'm sorry. Let me go back to the daily chart. Sorry. I knew it looked too good. Okay. Again, this is going to be, in my eyes, you're going to be looking at, just under 113 as a key number that's got to hold. And if it doesn't hold, that's probably going to reverse. Okay. And, certainly I can make here. Let me clean this up. We'll get a cleaner look at it. Okay. Let me get rid of all this crap. Okay. Here, this from its bottom here, it looks like it may, again, I hate the euro currency. I think it's going under a par, but in the meantime, I would make this, like 112.80 as support, and it's got room to run at least the mid 114s, maybe 150, maybe higher. Okay. Again, remember, these are pennies, right? This is $1.13. It's got going to $1.14, going up 1 penny from here to $1.1438. If in a full futures contract is $1,250. And it could go, I've seen them go up a penny or two in a day if there's some interest rate information or some information out of the ECB. Okay, you get some of these wild moves right now.
Let's also not forget that Europe is front line with this Russian situation. That could really affect the euro currency.
I agree with you. And you've got what you've got sitting here right now is you got a market that's sitting in basically nowhere, which telling you even more so that a much bigger move is going to happen. Which way? I have no clue. Okay, we're long, so I'm going to assume long. But my personal opinion is I hate it. I think it's going below $1. Okay. In the meantime, 112.80 to 113.50 for today. Okay, 113.75. But again, I'm not a seller. We're long. When I'm long, I'm not selling. Okay, I will give you some what I think might be resistance, and of course, the big story is the clobbering of the Bitcoin. Okay, or the crypto space. Now, we said that this could happen.
We said last week that 28.8 is a critical level in this wild market that halves and doubles and goes all over the place. So we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is another poster child for why we follow trends.
Right. And natural gas will be skyrocketing. I'll get to that in a minute, but I don't think so. Look.
Yeah, but the natural gas, look, it'll affect European natural gas, but the natural gas futures here are Henry Hub. Right. And, there's plenty of supplies of natural gas in the United States. We're even above the 5-year average in inventories right now. I mean, could natural gas catch a bid? Sure. But, Natural gas is a
Never,
wild
it's
market.
never happened before.
Right. It's a wild market.
Listen, it's almost as wild as the crypto world. But I will tell you this: now again, Andy's much more experienced than I am, but in my experience, the biggest moves come in this stuff when it's in the beginning of the season, when they're not ready yet, and they've already burned off the excess because they got nowhere to put it. Okay, and they don't have it handy, and suddenly they need it, and that's what
this is true. But we got that's true for the past, but we have a new dynamic, and that's exports of LNG. And if Europe, they do close down that pipeline, it means that there's going to be more demand for U.S. natural gas. So it's going to be going, by ocean vessel. The question is that can the supply chain handle it? That's another question. Are there enough vessels to carry it? That's another question. Europe will go back to burning coal.
And just last point on any market, because I don't want to answer all these questions on markets. Let the price action dictate, because nobody can predict what they're going to react to. Nobody knows what's already priced into these markets. So for me to try to give you guesses is making me look like a hero or a schmuck, and I don't want to look like it either. I want to just trade the way that I trade and be able to follow the trend and do my thing. Okay, because I can't make long-term predictions. I yell at everybody for doing so, and I'd be an idiot, a lying idiot if I made predictions that I wasn't going to back up anyways. Because if I don't back them up with trades, they mean nothing. Okay. And when I give you something, I'm backing it up with my own money. Okay. So Bitcoin, look, I don't know. Can this be the bottom? Listen, Bitcoin, nobody talks about Bitcoin today, but Bitcoin had a hell of a rally. It was down 5,000, closed down about 1,200. Okay. So is this the bottom? We'll see. It doesn't look very good right now. We're still short Bitcoin. So for now, we're short and we'll stay there. Okay. Cocoa, the sauce got wrecked today. Andy,
yeah, across the board. That? Across the board. I mean, okay. Hey, a lot of them have made big moves.
Right.
And, maybe you had some people liquidate positions today. I don't know.
That's what you're listening. That is your bailiwick, right? You are that's guy.
That's what it felt like. I mean, you had losses across the board.
Right.
Sugar was down, cocoa, coffee, orange, they were all down. It felt like kind of a liquidation day here. But if you step back and you look at these markets, they're still trending higher.
Right. Kind of a mass sell-off, just kind of sell questions now, sell now and ask later.
Yeah. Sell say we hit any bid in the softs today. That's what it was like.
That's what it looked like. I was on RFD today. That's why I said about the greens at the time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, wheat went to $8 today.
Yeah. So in the meantime,
Russia.
I'm not going to give you a call on cocoa. We are long right now. I don't know that we'll still be long tomorrow. Okay. Again, I don't know what they're going to tell me overnight. My algorithms are going to say I haven't done the stuff yet. So, but we are long at the moment. So obviously not very pleasant. Crude oil made a nice little move today. Okay, but not a surprise. Look where it came down to, right down to support at just around 82 or under. And here we are. So we're still in the same range, 82 to 86. Nothing has changed. Okay. I
mean, the only thing that changed over the last week is that Brent broke out to make a new high, multi-year high. And, these markets don't move in a straight line. And crude oil is still PS. Crude oil was $53 at the end of last year. I think at the end of 2020, something like that, like $40 or something. And look at where it is. I mean,
right.
These are strong markets.
And this is, you want to know where all your problems come from in the inflation. You can look right here. You need to look no farther than right here.
Right.
Okay. Anyways, 82 to 86. And cotton, cotton was not down bad at all today based on what was going on.
No.
Okay. I mean, this is just, we're long and this is going higher. We're long crude too, by the way. And
cotton tends to have seasonal highs in like March through June. We're going into this seasonal strength period at $1.20. This is the highest level in decades,
right. I mean, I haven't seen this in quite a while. I mean, I don't remember if I've ever seen it higher than this, but I know it has.
No, hey, by the way, before 2011, the highest cotton price was $1.17 a pound.
I go back to the days, Andy, when November beans never closed above $8.
Right. So, we live in inflation. But cotton is still above the
100%. It's still good, looks good, and we're still long, obviously. And gold
looks
today
good.
was a very big day. It looked really ugly early. Now, again, it wasn't down a lot, but it looked really ugly early. It came down to 1830, which I wrote about this morning, and it held, and it closed above 1840, which in my mind That's a very key level. Now we'll see. A level is not something you have a scalpel that it's this exact price point. It's in the neighborhood. So if we can get much higher than this and start to go and start to continue to hold over this 1840, I think there's a good room to get to 1880. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, silver had been leading last week, and today silver and platinum fell. Platinum too last week, and gold wasn't moving a lot. And today silver and platinum fell, but gold and even copper fell, but gold did a very good job today. Gold looks strong to me.
What's your take? I know 1478 was your take on the potential downside, right? At some point. Where's your next big move on the upside in your number?
About 1913.
Okay.
About 1913.
That was a very bad year. That was the year the Fed. Oh no, 1906. Was it 1913? 1913 was the Fed started, wasn't it? 1913.
I think so. I think
it was a very bad year.
Yeah. No, I think if you go back a little bit further in the chart, look, 1880 is the first resistance level. But if you go back a little bit further, I think what you're going to see is about the 1913 level.
Okay. Now again, I know that you track those on a much longer term basis, so I'm with you. That's why I asked. Anyways, Connie, 1830 to 1880. In 1913, when the Fed was developed, so was the Model T. Now look at Ford. They got a truck that can generate your entire house with power, and the Fed's still working using the same models. How about that?
And see, and the Commitment of Traders report comes out on Fridays, and it's as of Tuesday.
Right. Great report. Feeders are in trouble. Okay, but again, they did have a nice pop back from the lows. Okay, but we're short and they're in trouble, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, with inflation so high, with the supply chains breaking down, with everything that's going on. Okay, when it comes down to it, people are gonna have to make decisions of going to work, driving their car, eating, heating, and they're not gonna be so in a mood to spend money for a steak. Okay, so to me, both cattle, fats, and feeders are in a little bit of trouble. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I read an article this weekend that restaurants see rising inventories of meat. People aren't ordering it as much, so I think that's correct. I think the demand side is a bit of a problem here,
and they're very much affected by everything: the input cost to feed them beasts, to commute them. There's so many issues out there right now that
and by the way, if they fall, the bottom line is you're going to wind up having a shortage. So, just enjoy the ride down, because eventually, if that happens and the producers cut back, the prices will roar.
Especially in grain, in commodities, and especially meats and grains. High prices cure the high prices, and low prices will cure the low prices.
Right. And don't think that low prices are just low prices based on the chart. You got to take the input costs in. And raising cattle now, very expensive.
Very. And fat cattle, again, we're short this as well, breaking down as well. Now, not as bad, but also breaking down. So again, we have to look at these and again, just recognize, and I've said this for weeks, even when we were long, I go, I'm worried about the inflation. I'm worried about the consumer being able to afford to buy this, because at some point, we're very fortunate that it's been a relatively mild winter this year.
Yeah.
Because your heating bill, my heating bill is up 40% or 50% from last year at the same time. And it was a lot more milder this year.
Don't curse it, because it ain't over yet.
I know, but
that February and March can be
listen,
brutal months.
We had 6 inches of snow in Chicago. So I get to go home today. Anyways, the hog market, which I think will be better. See here, people like to eat protein, and if they want animal protein, I mean, now to me, it'll be chicken or hogs. So hogs should still be okay, and they look pretty good. Okay. So again,
by the way, I think the April hogs closed over 95 cents today.
I think you're right. I do actually. I'm going to look, but I think you're right. They were up pretty nicely. Hold on. There we go. They closed over 95 cents. That's right.
Yeah.
April and May closed almost $1.
And the June $1.06. These are high prices. But like you said,
they were high in December.
People are going to buy the pork chops instead of the steaks.
They're not getting high again. Just hope they don't get too high, or they'll eat beef and chicken. Well, beef not so much. I don't think. I hope so. Look, again, that would be the best thing. And then of course copper. They got hammered today a little bit, but it also came back. But
it looks like the stock market.
and look at the pattern. I mean, again, just look at it.
Nowhere.
We're long. Okay. It's in that tormenting position of consolidation, which is always a pain in the butt. Okay. And from here, I think you want levels on this county 435 to 460.
And one thing in copper, remember what it's doing here, this 440 to 460 area, it's like the $10,000 a ton level on the LME forwards, which is the big market in copper. And that's become a pivot point. And that's very interesting, because eventually those pivot points become support or resistance. And my bet is that it becomes support.
Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I think a lot depends on where we go, but I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, I don't get too oftenly surprised. Coffee, interesting. We made such a big package on coffee on the burst up. And of course, then we got short, now we're long. And of course, now it's going down. If I'm looking at coffee, I think we still think it's probably going to $3, but this has got a hold right here, in my opinion. Okay. About the 230, 235, somewhere.
Yeah, short-term trading. You're absolutely right.
Okay. I mean, this is.
But coffee, as you know, Bubba, coffee is a wild one. It's like a.
Well, yeah, because there's so many things involved.
Yeah.
The Brazilian real, the weather in Brazil, the drug dealers that get involved in this. I mean, there's a lot of
supply chain. There's a lot involved there, and it's it's a wild one.
It's almost like the pork belly markets.
I mean, remember where it broke out from, $1.76.
Right. And it went straight up from $1.76 to 240. So
right.
Again, I don't, I think Annie, I still agree, it's probably still going to 3, but there's going to be some, again, that's why you don't.
Could it go to 3 from $1.80? Anything
exactly
in coffee.
That's why we don't make ridiculous calls like that and tell you gold's going to 5,000. Can gold go to 5,000? Maybe eventually, but not before it goes to 1880.
Okay. Actually, not before it goes to 1445.
Right.
1845.
Right. Exactly.
Which is a dime above today's high, right?
Exactly. I mean, it can't go until it gets to reach the independent level on the way up. Right. Okay. Lumber. Okay. So it came down a little bit. Now, again, we don't trade this. This is as crap as you can get from a trading standpoint. But okay, when you look at it, this would be some support right in here. And again, it's so thin. It's really, we only watch it as a gauge of what's going on in the economy. We
don't trade it. This thing has been limit down for like 4 days in a row. I mean, it had a hell of a move. It basically tripled. It almost tripled.
It went from just under $5, which you said was the bottom.
Yeah, 448. It went from 448 to almost 1400.
Yeah. And it went from like what, 2000 or 20?
Right. So you're not going to get a pullback. You're going to get a pullback, but
if you don't think you're going to get a pullback, you should have your head examined.
You have your own pullback. You can't trade. You can't pick tops in these kinds of markets because they're very dangerous.
Oh, you can pick tops. They tell you what they're going to do ahead of time. I know that.
Good luck.
Anyways, it looks. I would suspect that it's going to bounce as much as I don't want it to, but I suspect it will. Natural gas. We're still short. Okay. I thought a couple weeks ago, I said we thought we reversed. We didn't. We kept going back down again, which means that the algorithm didn't trip it, and we're headed south now again. Can it go up? Sure, it can go up. Well, eventually we'll reverse. From where? I don't know. The only thing I know is the faster it goes down, the longer it stays down, the closer we are to getting to reverse it and locking in more profits. So if I'm looking at this chart, 380, to 420 is what I'm watching. Okay. I mean, that's the numbers that I'd be looking at. In the meantime, it's still trending lower here. And trending lower here.
Coming, look, so February futures is going to roll to March. And in the natural gas market, the common sense is that, March is the beginning of the injection season and the end of the coldest period of winter. So, you might see some selling pressure, but that was all out the window last year. And I think it will be this year too. I expect higher lows in natural gas. And that doesn't mean, over the last couple of months. I mean, that's on a wider scale. We're not going to see that price we saw in June 2020 again. And, natural gas is going to find a bottom eventually sometime this year. That's a lot higher than it was in 2020. And we're going to continue to, because the bottom line is that U.S. energy policy supports the price.
Cash lumber hitting all time. Naturally, cash lumber. They got you by the stones.
Right.
Everyone expecting gold to pick up the place of after. Listen,
That's the best
You
reason I see to sell it.
You guys keep reading that bullshit.
By the way, I'm very bullish on gold, but a statement like that is a reason to sell it.
Exactly. Okay. I got
I'm
news for
bullish
you.
on gold. Don't get me
A
wrong.
reason to
But
buy.
I don't care what everyone is expecting. I care what the market does.
Here, wait a second. A reason to buy today. Somebody wrote in, what's the limits on the downside? Okay. So again, you want to listen to the news and read that bullshit. Hey, all more power to you, but just get your checkbook out. Okay. Follow the price action. What do you think? Nobody knows what you just told me, that there's a possibility that gold might react. They're going to react ahead of it. You don't think that Goldman and JP Morgan are going to react ahead of the statements if they think something's going to happen?
They don't think, they know.
And, right. In the meantime, know this, that fat cattle went short, live feeder cattle went short and live cattle went long today. So they reversed course.
Hey, Bubba, what do you think the odds are that the Fed ends QE at this meeting and they do a 25 basis point hike?
I think it'll depend if we're panicking in the markets or we're still rallying. If we're stable, I think they'll do it.
I think they should do it.
Well, they should have done a long time ago. Should have done 5 years ago.
Right. Well,
anyway,
they should have done it in June 2020.
Listen, they should have done it in May of 2013, the first taper tantrum.
Yeah.
OJ, look, geez, it went down a little bit today. I mean, again, come on. This is going straight up. It's another Brazilian product. Okay, even though people price it out of Florida. Okay, but overall, I see nothing wrong with this. Listen, I'm glad I'm long it. Okay, it looks like it wants to go a lot higher. Platinum, well, you actually made a nice move off it, but look at the move up. Now, do you think? Remember, we talk about this a lot. The speed in which we went higher is hard to maintain. It has to have some retracement. Now, the key is going to be, this is number one, okay, and then coming down here is number two. Look at where it stopped. Look at where it went down to today, and look at where it closed.
Platinum has me so trained to be disappointed.
Right.
It does. It trains you to be disappointed. I'm like, I look at the platinum chart. I said, oh, when's the next time we're going to fall below and say, oh, he failed at 1,000 again. I mean, listen, I'm bullish on platinum long term. I buy it just like you buy the physical. But, listen, the markets get you into this mode where you almost expect failure. Right.
Exactly. In the meantime, if you're looking for levels, 1,000 is going to be support, and a 1060 on the top. Okay. Sugar, it also came. A lot of them came back. I mean, sugar was right down to support earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. And it popped off of it.
Yeah. It was really trading off the oil today.
Okay.
Remember, oil got down to 82, on the March contract. Sugar's also sugar. The one thing I like about sugar is it's a hell of a lot more liquid than coffee. So it trades better. It does trade better.
Captain, we can have our pretzel bet. I'll take down 25%. You can take new highs. How's that? Okay. I'll try to get my pretzels back from
in what? In the stock market?
Huh?
In what? The stock market?
In the stock market.
Yeah. S&P 500?
Pick your poison. You can pick anyone you want, or you can take a sum total. Silver, look, again, I just showed you this in platinum. These straight up moves, they don't last.
Look, yes,
especially
silver led gold last week, and gold didn't do much. So today you saw kind of a catch-up day. It was like a catch-up day. Silver came off, all right, came down to 23.80. Gold did pretty well.
Listen, at the end of the day, okay, this is healthier for the market anyways, if you want more of a long-term rally. Okay. When you get the straight ups, they usually go straight down. So you want to see, as they call it, backing and filling. You want to make a bet on AAL, Captain? Let's see, where's it? I'll make a bet with you. Let me see where it's at before I open my mouth. What's the bet? AL 20 compared to what? What side am I taking? I'm taking no 20. What's the side I'm taking? You say 20, I say no. Okay. Oh, yeah, but what period of time?
You over under.
I mean, what, till I'm dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? That's a fair bet. I'm not suggesting the Fed meeting is a reason to buy. I just don't believe the good. Well, the bull market is not over, but it is over. It's over now. I mean, we're long, but again, look, I think gold. I believe everybody should own gold.
No,
I
gold
do.
bull. I think he's talking about the gold bull market.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I think gold's going higher over time. I just don't know. Yeah, we're long now, so I expect it to go higher now.
What will
But
signal
also,
the up there? You know what'll signal it? Very simple. When it breaks above the right technical levels. I mean, Bubba calls it 1880. I call it 1910, 1913. You know, wherever it is,
no worries.
that's going to be the signal. And then they're going to flock in like, you know, the money will go in.
Russia is only protecting its Russian speakers in Ukraine. War is a racket. It's a distraction for the U.S. and EU. Political chaos and Trump agreed to Afghan withdrawal. Both sides were incompetent, left and right. Okay. Anyway, so silver, 23.50, 24.75. I think it's going higher. Look, I buy physical all the time. Okay. That doesn't change. The bond markets, they were all, look at it, they were all there but resistance, as we called last week, and they're all the way down at support. Again, I'm just going to say, in my eyes, 154 to 156, okay, maybe 157, and we're short.
All right, so take a deep breath, stand back, and look at the yield on the 30-year bond, and you have to say to yourself, it's still too low. It's still too low. So the bond market has a lot of room down.
What's your take on the inverting of the curve, the front end of the curve?
I mean, it's telling me that the bond, I think the long bond, Bubba, 136. That's my target. That's where I see it. And that's what all of the kind of moving pieces, the yield curve, everything is telling me, inflation, the Fed, the whole thing is telling me 136, 136. The vigilantes are going to push it to 136. And that's a huge, by the way, that's a huge move.
Captain, I'll make this bet to you. I agree. I'll make this bet with you. $20 by the next Bubba Palooza. Okay. How's that? Anyways, corn, nice move today. It continues to break out.
It's energy. It's energy, baby, because corn is energy. It's ethanol, and it's U.S. energy policy, and corn.
And and we're short now, and I don't think we'll be short tomorrow.
No. Corn looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. And beans had a hell of a rally. Anyways, if you want levels in corn, $6 to hell if I know where. Okay, we're so far away from the last level, but 640. And in the meantime, soybeans, nice pop from the bottom. In fact, I said on RFD today, I was on it today at 12:15 Eastern. I go, hey, look, this is wholesale selling. I would expect them to bounce, and they just had a huge rally. I mean, again, you go from 1340 to 1430, you're going to get some pullback. So it came down, and here it is. Not a big deal. Okay, I would be a buyer at 1380. Okay, and wheat, which we're still short, we're long beans, we're still short wheat, and I don't know if we'll still be short after today. It had a nice bounce from the bottom, but overall, it has trended lower, and it's been the weakest of the bunch. Like it was the strongest of the bunch on the way up, it was the weakest of the bunch on the way down. And I know you have a specific thoughts on wheat, so go for it.
Yeah, to me, wheat is Russia, wheat is Ukraine, and if this thing really heats up, wheat is going to be a very interesting market to watch, because look, Putin controls oil and he controls wheat, and you know what? he's the center of the geopolitical world right now, and the wheat market's going to reflect that.
All right. Well, again, that would be, makes sense, right? That's been your take always on the political take here. And look, the markets themselves, look, we're in a downtrend. Okay, overall, the markets are in a downtrend now. Okay, and we should expect lower prices. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for opportunities to take advantage of that. And when we get to the regular call, I'll go into those levels as well. But again, this is a one-day reversal, means nothing over time. Okay, you're going to, as I've said many times. Okay, now for all you hedgers, you roll down like crazy, and some of you had double rolls, down and up, or down and then up. Okay, and they worked out pretty damn good. Okay, and hell, I had a reversal roll on my IWM down on the extra put and the back ratio, and then I had to roll all the way back up on the call and on the back ratio. So, what can I tell you? That's what you expect. You're looking for that kind of action because the most vicious rallies come in bear markets. Okay. So this market, this could have gone bigger. There's no surprise that it was up 173 in the Dow or 80 in the Nasdaq after being down. I mean, somebody said to me, this was the biggest point move in the S&P or close to in history. I said, yeah, but what's the real percentage? Because obviously it's never going to be able to get to that percentage it had in 87 in one day, but it was a big move either way. Okay. All right. Well, I will tell you this, that we will stop this recording and we'll come back with the Monday call right after I restarted. But in the meantime, any last thoughts on the pregame, Andy?
No, I mean, I just be careful out there. You got to, trade, size your trades appropriately, watch your risk, and, follow the flows.
I gave levels all the way across. I didn't give them on the indices yet. No, I did not give them yet. I will give them in the next section like I always do. Okay. I have not even talked about, I've showed them, but I haven't given any levels on it. Right. I mean, again, look, remember that with great profits, which can come now, also can come greater losses. So you have to
don't get too big for your britches. That's the takeaway.
If you're day trading, you must widen your stops because that's what we're going to do. And that's what we did. I mean, because you have to give it more room because the speed of these markets is much greater right now.
Right. And there's a function. Bubba's 100% right. You have to widen your horizons, but you also have to adjust kind of your position sizes. If you're used to trading X number of lots, and you're not comfortable with the risk, maybe you have to reduce that a little bit.
That's 100%. I said that this morning. You're 100% right. Look, you can't, the one thing you can never let happen is let the emotion of the trade handle the mechanics of what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. All right. Let me stop this and we will get right back. We'll stay here, but stop the recording. Let my girlfriend give me a kiss. Hello. Yeah. Okay, Jordan. Thank you. All right. And let's go back and start to re-record. And yep. All right, and what's up, everybody? And we keep getting earlier and earlier, but we keep going longer and longer. And pretty soon it'll be 24 hours in this call. Hey, Captain, you didn't give me an answer. Bubba Palooza, $20. So we got it better or not. Okay. Anyways, quite the day, as we said. I mean, it was a wild day, but not a shock. Okay. Again, remember, we look for these big moves on the open, especially if they're counter trend. Okay. Once they go and bang, you get that open higher, and they crushed them early this morning. And by, I don't know, whatever time it was, we'll see, but we were starting to turn up, and it looked by the actual opening of the futures market that there was a chance that a couple of indexes would get higher, and they did, and they all got higher. Okay. I bet AL is bankrupt before okay. Well, no, that's too hard because they might get bailed out. That's too open-ended. I gave you a bet. If you don't want to take it, don't take it. Okay. I gave you my bet. Okay. That's the bet I'm willing to take. By Bubba Palooza, $20. Okay. Anyways.
You're done. You're filled.
I filled. Okay. Of course he'll take it. He beats me anyways. Football weekend today is the markets. What's the difference? I mean, the football over the weekend, I was exhausted, and I'm exhausted today. I mean, was there anything crazier than the markets today? I mean, here's the Nasdaq. Okay, that's the bottom. Boom, straight up. Okay, Patrick Mahomes, every game this weekend. Okay, was a dead cinch bang home run. I mean, you couldn't be disappointed except if you had the wrong team. But if you were a fan, you couldn't have been disappointed. But the markets, same thing. They were wild, just like the games were. Okay, I mean, 4 big playoff games on the last play of the game. How about that? So, in the meantime, we always thank our veterans. We thank all the actually public servants, but veterans again, and active military, of course, active police. Look, it's a tough job. It's a tough job for no money, and we couldn't do the things we do without you. So I always make sure that we take the time to thank you, because as much as you get dissed by many, you will never get it here. Okay, we will always be on your side no matter what. Even when I get a ticket, Andy gets a ticket, he says thank you. He carries thank you cards with him.
I say thank you for your service. Always.
Anyways, so the bloodbath should be no surprise. There were so many warning signs coming in, it shouldn't have been a surprise. I mean, again, as I've mentioned many times over the last couple of weeks, this was looking a lot like the 1987 collapse. Now, again, there's never going to be the 1987 version because of the restrictions. Okay. And I think that, but the market itself is telling you that there was issues and problems and it was going to sell. Now, again, with great selling, the Tuesday, first of all, the Monday of 1987, the markets tried to rally hard during the day, but Tuesday they were up like 400. Nobody talks about that part of it. Okay. So remember that these are not a surprise. The overall trend will weigh it down, whatever it's going to be. And right now the trend is down. Okay. Bitcoin Ether, everybody says it's over. It's over. I mean, we've seen this movie before, have we not, Andy?
Oh, we saw it. We saw it 3 times last year.
Right. So, I mean, am I running? Look, as I've said, I don't have a big enough position that I'm going to lose sleep over no matter what. I'm involved and I'm a believer, but I'm not going to put everything into it because there's too many things. There's too many question marks that I hit.
Well, the thing is, if you were chomping on the bit to dip a toe into the cryptos when they were, on November 10th, when Bitcoin was $70,000, your risk reward is a little bit better here.
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, that we would never chase. Hopefully you learn that you don't chase any market up at those times. I mean, that's just common market knowledge.
Right.
But listen, my personal opinion is, my views are, we're short in the futures portfolios. I'm long in my cash accounts, a little bit, but I'm not, I don't worry about what's going to happen. I'm holding this for the long term because I do believe that the Bitcoin or the cryptos will be here to stay. At some point, they'll narrow it down to, I don't know, 50, 60, 40, who knows? Okay.
And by the way, if you loved it on November 10th, it's 2-for-1 sale today.
That's right. Okay. So again, this doesn't show me anything. This could have been selling to raise money for the stocks that people own. Who knows? Okay. The real question is, will the Fed panic? Okay. So what's your take? Will the Fed panic over this?
Well, I told you, if I was running the Fed, what I would do on this week is I would end QE and I would raise interest rates 25 basis points. That's what I would do.
But if you're running the Fed, we wouldn't have been at negative rates forever.
No, I would have raised interest rates in 2020.
And we wouldn't have had QE and we wouldn't have bailed out the banks.
I wouldn't have done QE. No way. No way.
So,
no way. But what I'm saying is, will they do that? I think that they'll do the same thing they've been doing, which is nothing, because that's what government does. They do nothing.
Well, the Fed funds rate is suggesting 4 hikes this year. Now, again, whether that's it's going to be right, I don't know.
But by the way, okay. So let's say even core CPI is 5.5%. We're still at negative 4.5%. Does that help? No.
Listen, nominal rates are going to be negative for a long time.
And by the way, it's not 5.5. It's more like 10.5 or 15.
Agreed.
Right.
Okay. Today's rip your off face railer. I wrote about it in the chat room. I talked about it this morning when I was trading live with my members. Okay, that a rally was not going to be a surprise, and seeing green after this morning was not that big a deal. Again, you have to learn how markets function and how markets work, and a major rally off of 5 days or 6 days of selling is not a surprise. And usually, you've heard the term capitulation. Okay. Well, this was like a capitulation phase over the short run that saw a natural rip your face off rally. And if you remember that bear markets create the biggest rallies, this is only an opportunity to sell. The only question is where. Okay. So in the meantime, as the call always starts with the words of wisdom from Connie. And how you feeling, honey? You didn't tell me this week. I know it's a little better because you're taking notes, but patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweeter. And of course it is. Okay. And again, the more you can be patient, especially when it comes to the money and trading and doing things like that of risk. Okay. You're going to have to be patient because you have to learn it. You have to understand it. You have to know what you're looking for. And that doesn't mean you'll never have losers. You're going to have losing trades. Okay. The key is how do you handle it? And again, it comes back to the emotional side, because too many people throw the towel in because they weren't patient enough and they've gotten themselves too emotional.
That's right. And patience partner is perseverance.
Okay.
You have to persevere. You got to keep at it.
The Fed has never saved the markets, by the way. The Fed has only destructed the markets and given us what we have today. So you may think that's saving. They have never saved them. they've given us the crap we got today.
It's very interesting. It's an interesting comment. So let me take that one step further.
Right.
The one thing that we haven't heard, we heard the blame of the inflation on pandemic-inspired bottlenecks and this and transitory and that and whatever. No one in the government has ever come out and said what really is the reason for the inflation, which is the central bank liquidity and the government stimulus. Why haven't they? It's obvious that that's the reason. So, will they save the markets? It's not that they're going to save the markets. They'll slowly undo what they did and hope that things get a little better. That's what they'll do.
And the best thing for markets, the fact of the matter is the best thing is markets for them to get that beat down. Okay.
The best thing is to leave them alone, really.
Right.
And
let the
market
market
go to a price where, equilibrium, where buyers and sellers meet.
It's an amazing fact. If you leave markets alone, asset classes will price themselves.
Right.
Amazing how that works. But of course, the Fed and the government can't leave them alone. They need to get their fingers in there, hoping they can create something that doesn't exist, which is the same thing as we say, try to borrow their way out of debt.
But that's with a political agenda. There's an agenda behind that.
I got it. There isn't there always?
Oh yeah.
And of course, her new category, the State of the Union. One idiot is one idiot, two idiots are two idiots, and 10,000 idiots are a political party.
Yes.
and that goes for both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Okay. Because unfortunately, because of what we have, we don't get good candidates to run. Good, like they did when they wrote the Constitution, guys would serve a term or two and be gone and back to the farm. And now,
that reminds me. I'm sorry, finish up.
Go ahead.
It reminds me of a quote from Mark Twain, who once said that if one man steals $1 from another man, he's a criminal. But if someone steals $1 from a million people, they're a utility.
There you go.
Or the government.
Couldn't have said it better.
It reminds me of that. Yeah.
Again, this is what the mess we're in, and we can blame the Biden administration for a lot of it. Okay, especially the oil and things like that. But the political system itself has been garbage for a long time. Okay. And when they start, when you have career people there, okay, it's not what you need because they're trying to make a living where they can scam their money. But anyways, on to my bitch. Okay. And, obviously, or maybe you don't know, but I love football. I love betting on anything. I bet on cockroach races if I can get a good market. But, I watch the NFL and I watch them spot the ball like on a first down. Okay. Now you got the ref who was walking cockeyed at the time. Where's the accuracy? Okay. Here's a multi-billion-dollar industry that can't use technology like a chip in the ball and a chip on the field to identify exactly where it's at. They have to go through. You still got to walk the chains out with these guys who are crooked.
They think
guys making different calls. I got to say, the Rams were the better team yesterday by far. It wasn't even close. It was amazing that Tampa Bay was in the game, but those three unsportsmanlike conduct penalties and early in the game did have an effect on the game, and they were ridiculous. Okay, taunting. And Ndamukong gets kicked in the balls by Stafford. There's no flag in that, but he gets a flag for taunting. Okay. And Tom Brady gets whacked in the mouth with a helmet and he yells at the ref, probably give him a couple of good words, and he gets penalized. Each one of those led to a touchdown for the Rams. But anyways, they were the better team. I take nothing away from the Rams victory, but I think that in a $1 billion industry, you could probably do better with your refereeing or your umpiring, whatever you want to call it. In the meantime,
by the way, it's not just football; it's hockey. It's a lot. It's all.
What's that right?
What about the World Series being decided on a bad call?
Listen, they are working on that. That's in the independent.
Right. But I'm just saying, this is all officials, human, with all the technology, they got to do better.
One quick story, because this is on point. Every ump is different, right? And the strike zone is not the strike zone to the same as every ump. And when Xander, was a pitcher, okay, and he was very good, but he wasn't a hard thrower. He was he was like a Mark Burley kind of pitcher. But I knew as soon as I saw the first couple of calls from the umpire, I knew if he was going to have a good day or not. Okay, because I knew what his strengths were. But anyways, look, I'm sick of it, and it's disgusting because there'll be some rule changes with the whistle blow on Saturday, whatever. Anyways, so here we are, and of course the Dow, the YM, which is what we track the Dow with, and again it got crushed, and then came all the way back, right back over 1,000 points. And where did it close? Well, it closed right around. There still may be resistance, but certainly. We're short, but now you have to identify support. Believe it or not, you've got to identify support is down here at 33,000. Okay, because that's where it came from. Okay, it might have gone straight up, and I would say resistance is at 34.5, if not sooner. Okay, now personally, I will be a seller at 34.5. Okay, personally, but oops, where did that go from? I don't even know where I don't know where it came from. But anyways. So for me, it's 33,000 to 34.5. Okay. And again, remember, with increased volatility, those moves are not that big when you think about it. Okay. The S&P, Echo Sierra, same thing. Okay. You've got to account for the 4,200 area. Okay. And 44.40 would be my area of selling. And I will be a seller at 44.40. I may be wrong. I might lose money, but I'll get out, but I will be a seller. There's no bad call when Hertz hit a home run into orbit. Anyways, so again, you've had wide swings, but you have expansion and volatility, which means an expansion and implied movement anyways. Okay. And we're still short. Now, again, when you see this and then this, a bounce is not a far cry from there. Okay. You have to learn to expect it. They're not going straight to zero, and they're not going straight to a billion. Whichever direction that they're going at the time, there's going to be plenty of action in between. Okay. And remember, the bear market rallies are the most vicious that there are. Okay. And they're the most appealing, which is why they trap most of the people, which is why usually what happens, like if you go back to 08, the markets were at 12,000, 13,000, they'd go down and they'd rally 1,000 and get creamed. But the real action, the panic didn't take place. So all the people rebought in because they thought that was the time to buy. And of course, then they went down and people never got back in again. So, be prepared for all of that because it's going to happen. Nasdaq, look at this. Okay. 13.6-ish. Okay. To 14.7. Okay. I'll be a seller 14.6 probably. Okay. I think again, you look at this, that the speed in which it went down cannot speed. What did I just do here? Cannot be sustained. Okay. That speed cannot be sustained. So there's going to be some retracement. Okay. And you got a huge rip your face off rally. Not a surprise. We called it. Okay. Again, today, it wasn't like we're shocked. And the Russell, nothing's been under more pressure than the Russell. But again, this didn't even make it back through the where it broke down from. Another breakdown. So this is almost a sale right away. Okay. But we'll give you a level of 20, 40, okay, to sell, and the support is 19.25. Okay. I hear a lot of Las Vegas casino points. I hear a lot of Las Vegas casinos point to virtual craps. Yes, they do. It's online, and even in the casinos, they're using AI blackjack, AI dice. They're still regular games, but listen, they're trying to get total control of everything, and at the same time limit people from making money. Okay, the employee. Okay, because it takes a lot less to employ a AI dealer than it does a real dealer, right? So again, they're just like the exchanges. When we went from fractions to decimals, okay, you knew it was all over for market makers. And I don't know that the gamblers will ever tolerate coming to Las Vegas if it's going to be virtual. Okay, because you can do that from anywhere. But we'll see. But yes, you are correct. There are some, and there's a lot online. Okay, there is a lot online now. You can gamble dice online and blackjack. Okay. Anyways, So what did I say? 1925 to 2040. And the VIX, which again, Andy said, and we went to 40 before coming all the way back down. Okay, but it still is around 30. But again, like the other ways on the way down, this can't happen either. Okay, you can go back as long as you want and see. And that's why when you get these dramatic spikes, you can almost bet on the fact that there will be some sort of reversal or retracement from there, because the sustainability of that kind of move is almost impossible. Any comments on these markets, big boy?
Yeah, I will say, I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, the odds are probably even that the VIX will be at 22 or 34 on Friday.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Right, because it just seems to me that this thing peters out all the time, and it tends to drop down at the end of the week. So we'll see. I mean, we'll get a better sense tomorrow at the end of
trading. And then you got the Fed on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, you got a lot of stuff that's coming.
By the way, the one thing about the Fed is the stock market move is going to spook them.
Right.
It's a midterm election year. No one in the Democratic Party here wants to see the stock market crash.
Right. Now, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% there. Okay. In the meantime, so as we look at our group of stocks, I did not take off what I was supposed to. But I'm just going to skip by them today. But Apple, which we are short. Okay. And Apple, look at that, went down to 155, came and closed up. But again, 162 would be a great resistance level. Okay. And, your support is now 160, 155. Okay. 155 to 162. And we're short. Okay.
I hope it goes to 100.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said I hope it goes to 100 because
because you'll buy more. AG, Alpha Golf, which is silver, and we actually are along this ugliness of it all. Silver got hammered, and of course down to 10. And since this is, it's hard to give a 20% range on a on a $10 stock, but again, you have to account for everything. And to me, this is probably a 9.50, 9.70 to $11. Okay, and again, I only use this. It's in the portfolio models for the long side for when we get the big move, because this will accelerate to the upside, and there's not much room on the downside, which is the way that I looked at it when I set it up.
Basis, it's definitely going to outperform silver on the upside.
So, AMD, Alpha Michael Delta, okay, which we are short, and of course, again, to 108. And again, look at the move down. This is consistent through almost every stock and every market. The straight down move was met with buying. Okay, now is it short covering buying? Is it a short squeeze? Is it guys trying to get long? Well, I would put more likelihood on the weak hands that got short and couldn't take it. Okay, and then some buying, because there's always going to be some buying either way. But for my money, I would say probably 118 is resistance now, and 108, 118 to 108. And let's just see how good that is for an action wise. Okay. And I always like to share once in a while the volatility. Okay. And the expected move in the next 4 days is $10. How about that? Okay. What are my levels? Oh, $10. How about that? Okay. So again, when I give you wide levels, it's because I know what volatility is doing. I can see it. I can watch it trade. Bravo Alpha, which we're still long. And look at this, is just really in a wide range. And I know Charlie Munger bought more. He doubled down. But I don't know, where this is going to end up. But to me, it looks like about 115 to 130 first, and then we'll see 115 to 130. Bido, well, yeah, but this looks good. Now, somebody emailed me last week and said, "Here's the level you said." I said, "This is a level to watch." Okay. I'm never buying into this as it's going straight down. Okay, never. Okay, I'm not buying the falling knife of this market. Okay, if there was a way I could take a cheap shot, I might look at it that way. If you check the politicians and they're getting it, oh yeah, I'm sure. I don't disagree at all. Okay, so again, I'll give you a level, but that doesn't mean that when that level hits, you jump in. You have to evaluate what it looks like when it gets to that level. Okay, don't just think that I give a number that you're going to jump in. Those are areas to watch and observe. And then if you know how to trade, you shorten your time frame to see if that's really a top or really a bottom. Okay. And you never know for sure, but you have at least a guide as to what makes it that way. In the meantime, listen, I don't know where this is going, but right now I'm not a seller. I don't sell products like Bitcoin, in a market. I mean, we're shorted in the micros, but we know that it'll reverse at some point. But when I start playing with these things, I'm not looking to start to play in here. I don't need the grief and these less than liquid markets to play with. And again, I still want to see how this handles all the futures action, because this is when you're on ETF based purely on futures, most of the times the traders, the investors get screwed. Okay, so I want to see this go through a couple of cycles before I do anything. BitQ, and of course, this just gets hammered and is worse and worse and worse, like a nightmare. Okay, there is no support. I mean, I would suspect that you could look at 13, but again, I'm telling you, I own some that say I own it, but I'm not looking to buy here. I mean, why would I want to buy into this? Okay, this is all I can tell you in Bitcoin is most likely in the next day or two, you'll see a pretty sizable rally. The question will be, is that rally any good? Okay, and that's what we don't know yet. But right now, it's certainly in a downtrend. Okay, Chewy had a nice little pop today, late in the day, and of course, Chewy, we are still short. And of course, listen, are you surprised? I mean, certainly you've got resistance at probably 45 now. Andy and I are shocked that this is going down because it's such a good company, but it just goes to show it doesn't matter if it's a good company or not, does it?
No, not at all. But it was a nice little bullish reversal.
Yeah. So, listen, this could be the start. Again, nobody knows that this is going to be the bottom or the top. All we know is that we're short. The algorithm is short, and that's it. Okay. Anything else we can't decide. Okay. And right now we're still short. It looks like it's 36 on the downside to 45, 46 on the upside. Okay. Coin. Charlie Oscar, India November, which we are short as well. Okay. And of course, you got to bring into 160 your support. And to me, it's pretty simple, 160 to 220. Okay. Or 210. Okay. Now, as a trader, okay, I would first start looking at 210, okay, because that would be a natural. But again, I would look and evaluate the action at 210 before I would be jumping. I wouldn't just leave a blanket order and to sell at 210, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I would evaluate it, but certainly 160 would be support, but I wouldn't be a buyer until our trends reverse. Okay, so 160 to 210 or 220. No more pot stocks. They're disgusting. Like DraftKings is disgusting. And again, DraftKings continues to get hammered, and it's been cut from its highs by 60%. Is there any hope? I don't know. What do you think?
Listen, what's his name? The big short guy he's all over this.
Janos.
Mm-hmm. And, look, so far he's right. Dead right.
Listen, again, I think, I believe that they will be fine. I own it. Okay. Full disclosure. We are shorted in the platform, in the portfolio. So, okay. So again, we are shorted in our trading models. Now, again, just from a viewpoint, I'm telling you that the problem right now with all of these apps is the acquisition cost.
Yeah. But this stock gets low enough, someone will take this out.
But they will, right. But also the handle this weekend was like record setting for everybody. So, it was unbelievable the amount of money bet on both sides, and the bookmakers did very well. We'll see. Again, I'm not worried about today. I'm hedged it anyways. I keep buying more. Okay. Facebook. Oh, I didn't give me levels. Okay. I'm sorry. Hold on. I gotta go. I caught myself. I mean, there's no support right now. I mean, right now you'd have to look at probably 2250 as a place to sell it. Okay. Facebook, Foxtrot Bravo, okay, which we're short. Again, look at it go down. Okay, not a surprise. Okay, it went under 300. So we got 290, okay, to 315, 310. 310 probably pretty good. I mean, you got earnings coming out. Is it this week or next? Okay,
February 2nd.
Shortly.
February 2nd.
Okay, so next week. So Again, that would be something that would keep me. I mean, our portfolios were always in, but my getting a new position, I probably wouldn't be. I wouldn't be doing much. DraftKings, yes, they do advertise a lot, and they own VSiN, my favorite network. Okay, and again, they give away so many perks. Listen, it's going to take them a long time to make all that money back that they spent, but they are one of the dominant players, and they're only in, I think, 32 states. Okay, 290 to 310, 290 to 315. Excuse me. First Solar, Foxtrot, Sierra, Lima, Romeo, which we are still short. And again, these are pretty easy today. Not a lot of guessing. 72.50 to 80. Okay. And certainly at these top levels, again, based on what's going on when they get there, I would most likely be a willing seller and a willing participant. Okay.
Yeah, this thing, when Build Back Better went down, this thing went down.
Yeah. GDX, look, it goes like a yo-yo. It's again, it's not. We have it in one portfolio, okay, and we're long, okay. It's not a very active. It only has the real potential to go much higher, and not much lower. I mean, it can go either way, but it's got the bigger potentials to the upside. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. It's gold. Listen, it's leverage gold. That's what it is.
Right. So. Again,
without any time decay.
30, excuse me, 30.50 to 32 would be first, 30.50 to 32. Okay. And then Goldman, Gulf Sierra, they've been under a little bit of pressure. And of course, we did get short them. And, again, 325. Okay, they had earnings, but again, there's so much things going on.
I got to tell you, I have a little theory about this stock.
Okay.
So the bonuses were massive,
right,
like middle level, like more senior level managing directors and partners. They took home like $15 million bonuses. So they're basically, a piece of that bonus is in the stock. So it serves them very well that the stock price is going down.
Right.
They're buying this. They bought their shares cheap. And they will make a lot of money on those shares.
They're listen.
Those $15 million bonuses will be worth $25 million.
There's nobody smarter than these guys. Okay. Right. Anyways, 325 to 360. Okay. IWM, India Whiskey Michael. Again, we're short. Okay. We've been short. We got to bounce. Okay. 190. Okay. To 205. And I would be happy to sell at 205. Almost blindfolded. Okay. Again, I'm looking to sell this rally. Okay. It's that simple. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a spot that meets the resistance level. And then the short-term chart shows me that it's okay to sell. Okay. But anyways, 190 to 205, Mara, Michael Alpha, Romeo Alpha, which we have in one portfolio and we are short. And again, like Bitcoin, like everything else, it went down to 20. A little birdie told me it's going to 15. Okay. For me, for my money today, as I'm looking at this, 20 to 24. Okay. And we're kind of mid-range right now. Okay. And again, I expect to see a pretty sizable rally in Bitcoin anyways in the next couple of days. Just a natural rally because you keep selling, eventually they get a pop. Okay.
Eventually markets run out of selling.
Right. It's like they run out of buying. But when you get these obnoxious moves, big one way or the other, they typically will go retrace some and then resume the way they were going in the first place, okay, until the trend changes. NEO, November, India, Oscar, November, India, Oscars, only 3 letters there. We're still short, okay, again, why should we get long? Okay, and now down to 23, okay, 23 to 28, okay. I mean, look, it keeps going down. I mean, this is getting to a point where I don't want to short anymore. I don't want to buy it, but when stocks start to get cheap enough, I'm not a big fan of being short.
Yeah, I agree because they can only go down to zero.
Right.
And the upside is much bigger.
So I don't want to put I'm not Jim Chanos. I don't want to put billions of dollars to work or Bill Ackman and fight Herbalife, all the way up and down.
But even Chanos said, I heard him say today, he said, look, we're short a lot of stocks here, but we have our targets. I mean, we're going to take profits.
Right. So in the meantime, 23 to 28 and Nugget, November Uniform Golf Tango, okay, which we are long. And look, again, gold was under a little pressure. I came back light, but most of that rally came after the close of the pit. Okay, so we'll
Right.
see.
Well, the stock market was still open.
Right, but you know, they still were accounting for what they could see. We'll see. Like I said,
And all this is GDX doubled. That's what
doubled
it
or
is.
tripled.
I think it's doubled.
I think you're right. It is 2 times. But again, we're long. I'm not concerned about it right now. I mean, again, I think gold's going a lot higher, but there are levels you got to watch, and you know, it was very painful watching it try to get your 1840. So, in the meantime, 45 to 50. Okay. NVIDIA, November Victor Delta Alpha, which we are still short. Okay. And again, 210 to 240. Okay. And let's just for kicks and grins, what's the expectation here? NVIDIA, November Victor Delta Alpha. Oh, only $20 between the next week to $26 in the next 11 days. And our range from where it's at right now is, you know, 20 up, 20 down. I mean, so again, it's right in range. And that's the prices tell you that. Okay. Learning to understand price action tells you all you need to know. Okay. Penn, Papa Echo, November, which we are still short. And again, 37.50. Now, this is a nice little rally for Penn recently, but again, look at where it came. It was $160. Okay. It's 40. Okay. You're going to get a rally. I own this piece of crap. But anyway, look, again, I understand their environment. I understand the business. So from right now, 37.50 to 45, we're short. And I'm sure we'll still be short tomorrow. Okay. So I don't see anything at this moment that is going to convince me that these are buys yet. Now, if they get to a certain point in time of price, I might buy more. Okay. Because again, I think that the industry itself is phenomenal. Okay. And I just have to hope these are the right companies that have it. I don't want to see what happened to all the pot stocks, Andy.
Oh, they're horrible, aren't they?
That's why we don't look at them anymore. The Qs, Quebec. Again, here, 335, okay, to 360 on the upper end. But I would certainly take a quick look at 56 or 55 as well. Okay. Again,
question: would you be more comfortable if the market opens down or up tonight?
I would love for it to open higher tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love for it to open on a gap higher again, because that would make my decision easy. It would make it almost instantaneous.
Right. Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
That's what I would love to see. Okay. You guys said that this, without saying this, the trend is lower because the market has found out too much uncertainty. Well, I think the trend is lower because it was up on air pockets anyway. Again, I'm not a fundamental guy, but the fundamentals of the economy are not very good. I don't care what anybody says. I can see it when I go shopping. I can see it in my own bank account.
I mean, we've said it for a long time. Higher interest rates are not bullish for stocks, and the prospects for higher taxes are not bullish for company earnings.
Right.
And we've been saying it for a long time, and the stock market kept going higher and higher and higher last year. And it said it wasn't a question of when, if, it was a question of when.
And the supply chain shortage is no good for any of these companies either.
Right. So it's not a surprise.
Anyways,
how low it goes, I have no idea. I can't pick.
Only the shadow knows.
Right.
Riot. Now this is interesting. This is they look like they're going back to $6 where we started with these. This went all the way to 80. And it was over Mara. Now it's under Mara. Look, again, a little bit of a rally for my money. Again, $18 would be a sell spot. And I would not short this anymore. Okay. At these levels. I mean, again, there's other things I'd rather do, but for my money, looking at this is 12 to 18. Okay. And again, I'd be more inclined to look to buy this for a trade, knowing that I feel there's gonna be a big pop in Bitcoin. Okay. So just be aware of that. Okay.
Comment: war drums are beating. That is good for stocks. I will say this. You know what I really do think the outcome is going to be, Bubba? I think that Putin wants to come out of this looking as the magnanimous leader. So he's not going to trigger a world war. He's going to do something that gives him, a win because he wants to win. And I don't see this as being good or bad for stocks. I think the economy is not great for stocks now because interest rates have to go up. Inflation is critical.
I think the
So I don't think that the war thing is great for stocks. I don't agree with that.
And again, in a real good market, everything can go higher.
Right.
Because people want to be involved and they're not chasing other asset classes. So
right, exactly. And if bonds are going to show bigger yields, some capital is going to flow to bonds.
There's a lot of people that are in these markets that don't want to be in.
Right. They want to be in fixed income and have hey, I'm going to get this coupon every 3 months.
Right.
That's comfort for a lot of people.
100%. Romeo, Oscar, Kilo uniform. We're still short. And again, look, 140 to 180. Okay. But actually I'd make a case first for 170. Okay. And then 180. But again, I'd still be looking to sell this. Okay. Again, it still is not, again, to me, these companies, they do so much advertising as well that they'll be running into very similar problems as some of the casino industry stuff is. But of course, the only difference here is they have no real cost, no risk other than their costs, because obviously when you're streaming, your net cost is already accounted for the most part. Okay. The SPY, Sierra Papa Yankee, 420 to 445. Okay. 420 to 445. Again, a big range, but certainly it's going to move that much. I'm just curious what it's pricing in just for Wednesday alone. Okay. How's that? Just for 2 days from now or a day from now. All right. Let's see. For Wednesday, only $12 for Wednesday.
And by the way, that's probably down from when the market was on its lows. It was probably $18. So
right. Exactly. You're 100% right.
Right. When the VIX was higher, those implieds were through the roof.
Right. So we're still short anyways. And then Square Dance, Sierra Quebec continues to just
melt.
Whatever reason. And again, I have listen, first of all, I don't look at fundamentals anyways, as a rule. All I do is make sure if I'm going to buy a company for the long haul that I think they're going to be in business. But after that, I can't worry about day to day or what they're doing. Look, the stock's in trouble for whatever reason. It's not crypto. Okay. Because that's a minutia part of their holdings. They're a payment company. And of course, this may be telling you that the payment, even with, supposedly the growing economy, there's no empty shelves, there's not enough payments. They're not getting enough of their take, like a Visa and a MasterCard. We'll see. I don't know. What do you think?
Hey, throw up Twitter, because that's the other one that he founded. I'd like to see how that stock, and just compare it for a second. Because it's related.
They look the same.
Okay, thank you. Same thing.
Okay, so again, at the end of the day, okay, it's in a downtrend. So I like the company, but right now you have to look at 100 now, and we're still short. Okay, we haven't reversed any of these yet. We're not using an itch or a hunch. Okay, this is coming out too. Tesla. Okay, Tango Sierra Lima Alpha. Look, here it is on the bottom end of the range. Okay, it's still at $920 a share. Okay, and it's still one that I
sell 15 billion worth.
Yeah, and I don't trade it because I never did anything but lose money on it. So because I would only sell it. I'd never buy it. I love the car, but I just never could see the dynamics of the company. But they're obviously I'm wrong, so I just walked away from it. Okay, but here 840, okay, to 1,000, and then the VXX Victor X-ray, which we are now long. Okay, we'll see. And again, I said I was so close last week to taking a shot. Okay, then we didn't, but of course it would have been nice to do so. But again, either way, we are now long, and at the end of the day, okay, again, volatility could go a lot higher. Okay, and we'll see where it goes from here. Okay, in the meantime, right now I'd be a buyer at 23, and I'd be looking at 28 as possible resistance, which we got to this morning. Okay. When this made a big recovery too. Look at this, right off the bottom, the net nuts bottom. Okay, where it was getting creamed. Okay, which we are still long when. It was down about $6 or $7 at one time today. So to me, though, this is 79 to 90. Okay, big move, but again, when you get big moves, you expect big movement. It's not a shock. Shouldn't be a shock to anybody. Okay, XBI, X-ray Bravo India. Look at this. We said way back here at 120 it was going down to below 100. Here it is, 85. Okay, and we carry no positions, but 85 to 95. Okay, and zoom, which we no longer carry, but it was still short if you watch it. And again, look at where's it going? Continues to go lower. Okay, but for my money, I'd be looking at 160 to 140. Okay, and that's why I think
this Kathy Wood is not having a very good 2020, huh?
Well, again, what do you think? She's is she special?
I'm just
she's an idiot. Anyways, what can I say? Those are my views of many of these
disruptive technology lady.
These are my views of many of these big claimers and big shooters. And look, again, they really back it up is what I'm always concerned about.
There's a lot of them, right?
Oh yeah. So at the end of the day, look, it really comes down to you need to be more careful in this market. Okay, not to not trade, not to not be involved. You need to be more careful if you're trading short term. You need to open up your ranges of stops, which means you have to manage your risk and whatever your size was. Make sure that the size you're trading now, you're comfortable. Remember, you have to be comfortable with the low. Well, Joe Granville and Elaine Gazzarelli are still living off one call they both made 50 years ago. Joe Granville, I think, is about almost 70 years ago.
Yes, Bubba, you're right. Sizing is so important in this market. If you were used to trading X number of contracts or whatever, or shares, you have to say, ooh, is that appropriate for me in this environment?
Right. Look, again, for example, okay, and if we're trading crude oil, our normal risk used to be $100 or $150 over the higher the low. Okay, that was what we were willing to take. So it could be 250, 200, 250, whatever. Now it's going to have to be 300 to 350 to 400.
Absolutely.
Get comfortable. The S&P, again, all the things we trade, you have to expand the risk, because what happens, the moves come so fast, okay, that a 5-point S&P move is not even a surprise in 30 seconds. So again, whatever you're looking at, and remember, if you're trying to trade options during the day, you're not in good shape, because these bid offer spreads continue to widen out, especially with volatility, and you're never getting anything for nothing. So if you're going to trade active, you're much better off trading futures in an active market to be active, because you don't have to give as much on the bid offer spread. Plus you have no other day trading restrictions. But either way, again, make sure that your size, because assume losses and be happy with the wins. Okay. Many people sell higher, now looking to get back to sell higher, there's plenty of sellers above. I mean, I'm one of them. Okay. And until the trend changes, I will be. Okay. And don't take anything like tonight. The market just reopened. They're down a little bit, but don't take anything from this action. This action is just air pockets goofing around. This has nothing to do with what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll see more as you start to see Europe open at I think what 4 Eastern, and then we'll see more of what the real action is going to be.
Just like we try to take the meat out of moves, you want to trade when there's the most volume, the most meat in the markets.
Right. Baba, thank you. I made a killing today, plus 22,000. Nice. Hey, good for you. I love it. You know me, I'm thrilled. I want all my members to do great, and I want everybody to do good. It's a common thing. I'm looking for you to make money and be happy and enjoy the business, because it ain't easy, but it's a great business. Okay, but again, you got to be able to take a lot of the browbeating, a lot of the mental beat down that comes in when you're a trader. Okay, so you got any last minute thoughts there, or anybody got any stocks I want me to look at real quick? I'll be happy to look at a few.
Yeah, just be careful out there. I mean, it's going to swing all over the place here. Don't ignore the news, ignore the Fed this week, because it's all BS. Just watch the trends. Don't get sucked into oh, this one says that gold's going to rally after the Fed, and this one said no. That's a gold's going to do what it's going to do. Oil's going to do what it's going to do, and whether there's going to be war or not, that the markets are going to react, and they're not going to necessarily react the way that the analysts tell you they're going to react. So when you follow the trend, you remove that noise, and it removes your impulses, and it's a lot easier to kind of.
And remember, if somebody tells you it, they've already done their thing. In the meantime,
they're talking their book.
Alpha Bravo Bravo Victor. I mean, I'd be looking to be a buyer here at 130. This looks pretty solid still. Okay. It's got earnings, so we have an earnings trade on it. We don't have it yet. We'll have one tomorrow. I took it off today because I don't want to get involved. SoFi, Sierra Oscar, Foxtrot India. Looks pretty bad. I mean, I wouldn't be a buyer. Okay. I mean, not that I'm an aggressive seller here, but 15, I don't think it, it's got to get back up to 15 for now. 12 to 15. Peloton has gone out of business. I was shocked initially when they went so high, and I go, but they have nothing proprietary. Why could they be so much
the
higher?
next thing that you're going to see is they're going to remove their CEO.
Okay. So I mean,
activist investors are calling for that now. So you're going to see that.
Listen, I would never buy that. I wouldn't buy it in the beginning. And I said, even when it was way up there, I said, I don't understand it. Something's not right here.
I wouldn't buy the stock, and I wouldn't buy the Peloton.
Me either. DocuSign, Delta Oscar, Charlie, Uncle, or uniform. It looks weak too, right? Again, this we'll see, but this is, the industry itself is becoming much more competitive. Again, this is when you're first, you do great. And then when they start to realize there's money made, you get competition. Let's see if they're better than the competition. Okay. I wouldn't be a buyer here right now. I'd like to be a seller at 130. Okay. GSG, Golf Sierra Golf.
Goldman Sachs.
Commodities ETF. You must be familiar with this one.
Oh yeah.
All right, looks pretty good.
Yeah, weighted towards energy. That's this one,
good.
the DBC. They're all pretty much the same. They're commodities weighted towards oil and gas and products.
This must be a dividend pair too, is it?
I don't think so. I think
it's a stock. If it's not a dividend pair, I wouldn't even think about every.
No, it's got this one has futures contract.
No, okay. Well, I would never even look at it. Loses money. It's to me, it's a fun. It looks good, but again, any stock that shows a 20-cent range on the side, I am not interested in.
Yeah, no, but it's a few. It holds futures. That's what it does.
Right. No, I got it. I'm with you. Okay. Let's see. I got 4 more. Okay, and then don't put any more in because I'm not doing any more. I got the 4 up. Airbnb, Alpha Bravo, November Bravo. No, again, pretty ugly at the moment. 135 on the downside. Looks pretty ugly. I'd look to be a seller at 150.
That smells Nasdaq-y.
Yes, you owe me pretzels is right, because I told you that wasn't going there, you big boy. But anyway, it's all good. That's everything good. Microsoft, Michael, Sierra, Foxtrot Tango. Okay. Oh, 276. This looks pretty bad. Look, they all look bad. Okay, it's been a tech wreck. Okay, so let's not kid ourselves. We've seen a tech wreck in the last one. XLE, X-ray Lima Echo.
I mean, that's basically Chevron and Exxon.
And it continues to hold nicely in an uptrend. So there you go.
I think it's a 44% Chevron and Exxon this year.
Right. I already picked it up and sold it. Good for you. Okay. So again, remember, be careful. Okay. Don't get too aggressive here because trust me, when you're right, you'll make a fortune. Okay. But if you try to outsmart it, outguess it, or put yourself in mental jeopardy, you will get destroyed and then you'll be out when it finally does what you think it's going to do, you'll be out. Okay. So be careful, take care of yourself, and we will see you next Monday, if not before. In the meantime, be careful, look for a spot to sell if you want to be with me. And if you like the games next week, I'm already taking the Rams. I'll tell you that right now, after losing 8 in a row to San Francisco. Have a great week, everybody. Andy, thank you.
Thanks. Take care.